Hi, everybody. My name is Dave Hodges, and you're listening to Hodgeball Critical Sports Analysis, new channel where I wanted to bring light to some critical issues and do some analyzing in areas that I don't think get enough attention. One of the areas that I don't think there's enough attention paid to is the quality of a sports owner. And I have the misfortune of living in Phoenix, where I think we only have one quality owner, and that's Michael Bidwell of the Arizona Cardinals. You go, wait a minute, Dave, they only won 3 games last year. They'll be back. They spend the money, they hire good people, they don't tolerate lack of success, given evidence by the fact that they blew out a coach after the first year. But the rest of the ownership of the Phoenix pro sports market, it's awful. Well, first of all, the Coyotes don't even have an ownership. Well, I wouldn't call them an ownership at this point. The Diamondbacks have a great guy at the helm, but he won't spend the money. And we'll talk about that in another broadcast. But I want to focus on the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns have the best record, even with 9 years of misery under Robert Sarver, the owner. But they have the best record of a team that has never won an NBA championship. Oh, they've been close twice. And they've been robbed once in the San Antonio series. David Stern suspending half the team for something Tim Duncan did in the first half, go on the court during an altercation. A few of the Suns did it. Suspended. They lose the series to San Antonio after they had won the game in San Antonio, had a commanding lead, and lost it because of the suspensions. Oh, Heartbreak Hotel, as Al McCoy, the announcer of the Phoenix Suns, likes to say. But let's focus on the ownership. Let's go back to Jerry Colangelo. What a quality human being he is. Yes, you may remember him as the man who saved the Olympic basketball team, floundering in lack of success, made our once proud country's stellar record a laughingstock. And he restored dignity and pride, and he made sure that you were going to act loyal to America. There was no Colin Kaepernick kneeling on the knee during the national anthem. He wouldn't permit it. Excellence follows Jerry wherever he goes. He built the Arizona Diamondbacks into a world contender. And what happened? The rest of the owners stabbed him in the back and basically installed a system of mediocrity after they ousted him. And then Jerry Colangelo had been the longtime owner of the Phoenix Suns. And he took this franchise and made it exciting. And it was the jewel of the Phoenix sports franchises. It was once the identifying piece. It's now the Arizona Cardinals because the Diamondbacks have been mediocre. The Suns have been abysmal. I mean, they are the worst team in the NBA, the worst franchise in the NBA. And it's all because of the leadership of Robert Sarver. And you say, Dave, are you being a little harsh? No, I don't think I'm being harsh at all. Let's go back to what Jerry handed off to Robert Sarver. He handed off a great team with a great coach, Mike D'Antoni, a man who changed the NBA with his concept of 7 seconds or less, getting up a shot every 7 seconds, constant frenetic pace, emphasis on not fouling, emphasis on shooting threes. The Suns were such a joy to watch, so fun to cheer for. And like I said, they were ripped off against San Antonio. They were close a couple of times to a title. Jerry Colangelo had hired Cotton Fitzsimmons, and he had done a credible job. But then here came Robert Sarver. He inherited this 7 seconds or less team. Amari Stoudemire, Steve Nash. They just had an entire cast of characters that were such a complement to each other, all suited for the 7 seconds or less. But to maintain success, you've got to maintain your core group. Robert Sarver promised not once, but twice to Joe Johnson, who went on to become an 8-time All-Star. He promised Joe Johnson, oh yeah, we'll pay you the max contract. Next time, Joe, next time. And when he did it to him a second time, Joe said, I'm out of here. That cost the Suns, I think, a title. But to add insult to injury, there was also a player almost as good as Joe Johnson, Quentin Richardson, tougher than nails, capable of making clutch threes, and Sarver treated him much the same way. And even though the Suns were riding high, winning between 55 and 65 games a year under D'Antoni, They couldn't stop messing with his success. And they kept saying, well, you don't play defense. You don't play this. Well, the games are high scoring. It's going to look like you're not playing defense because the games are so up-tempo. Could he have spent more time on D? Probably. But you're coaching, you're the owner of a team that's knocking on the door for an NBA title. And you, with no basketball background whatsoever, are trying to dictate to Mike D'Antoni how to run your team. Now, this was cast as a controversy between Steve Kerr, the general manager, and Mike D'Antoni. Well, why was it that when Steve Kerr became the coach of the Golden State Warriors that he implemented 7 seconds or less? This is all Sarver related, pushing Kerr to be his messenger boy. But D'Antoni wasn't the only one who will quit in frustration. Steve Nash ended his career in L.A. Amari Stoudemire left. The mainstays of 7 seconds or less, Sean Marion, went off to the Mavericks. They're all gone. And what was once a proud franchise dating back to its emergence as a power in the 1970s under John McLeod became the laughingstock of the NBA. Phoenix used to be a desired destination for free agents, Charles Barkley, Danny Manning among them. Now they can't even get mediocre free agents to even take a whiff at Phoenix. And current star Booker, who really has stardom written all over him, he signed a max long-term contract, but he won't play this out unless it turns around this year or next. He's gone. He'll demand a trade. He'll sit out. And the mediocrity will continue. But see, it's not just on the court where Sarver has been an absolute disaster. The referees hate him. I've talked to a couple of NBA refs. They hate Sarver. Hate him because he's so insulting and demeaning during games. They'd love to be able to throw him out, but they can't because of the politics. The other players don't like him. His own players don't like him. And he's a constant meddler. The stories are infamous. Draft day, they're in the war room. And Sarver could be heard yelling above everybody else, no, we're taking this guy over that guy. Here's a man with no basketball knowledge or ability, and he's dictating to professionals he's hired how to do their job better than they can do. It's just unbelievable. But it gets worse. The exodus of people. A coach a year is basically what we've gone through. He ruined Jeff Hornacek's career. He jettisoned so many promising coaches and general managers, including Jerry Colangelo's son, Brian Colangelo, who'd helped assemble the 7 seconds or less group, and he was jettisoned, leading Jerry to give him sort of verbally the big middle finger, if you know what I mean. Now, supposedly they have made up because Jerry wants to see the Suns continue, but it's turned into a joke. The only people that go to the Suns games for the most part are the corporate tickets that get dispensed and sold. The average person, one, can't afford the high prices that Sarver charges, but two, they want nothing to do with the team. It's synonymous with incompetence, mediocrity. General managers come and go. Players come and go. Don't even know who they are. You can't build a fan base because they have no one to root for. Is your owner like that? Do you have an owner like that? I mean, this is as bad as Donald Sterling, if not worse. My wife and I, and this goes back to the days when I was a high school coach before I became a college coach, we used to have tickets in the fourth row. My wife had a really good job. We won't even go near a Suns game today. I won't watch them on TV. They're a joke. They're a waste of time. It's a second-rate organization. And it's all due to one owner. Oh, by the way, I had an interaction with Robert Sarver. I wrote a piece about him, and it was all very factual. It was just about the exodus from the Suns, mostly front office personnel. And he called the owner of the Phoenix Suns my good friend Ernie Hancock. And they put me on with him in a three-way. And I asked Sarver, I said, So what's the deal, Robert? What are you really upset about? And he says, you're hurting my business. And I said, what? Telling the truth? I don't care what you call it. You're hurting my business. This is no, Robert, you ruined Jerry's team. Do you have an owner like this? Tell me your story in the comment section. We'd ask that you'd share this far and wide, and I hope you're not suffering like we are, because at my core, I'm 1, a basketball guy, 2, a football guy, 3, a baseball guy, 4, a hockey guy, and then in descending order, golf. I play a lot of golf, not well, but it's really disturbing for me to see what happened to this once proud franchise. Tell us your horror story in the comments section. We're brought to you by Health Masters. You say, what's Health Masters? Well, they've kept me off the operating table 3 times, torn MCL, ruptured disc in my back, torn Achilles tendon, and each time I went through their protocols, no surgery. But they're also great for maintenance. You should go to healthmasters.com and use the coupon code 5 to take 5% off.